silently closing her bedroom door, leaving the note that she hoped would say more. She goes downstairs to the kitchen, clutching her handkerchief, quietly turning the back door key. Stepping outside, she is free. We gave the most of our lives, sacrificed most of our lives. We gave her everything money could buy. She's leaving home after living alone for so many years. Father snores as his wife gets into her dressing gown, picks up the letter that's lying there, standing alone at the top of the stairs. She breaks down and cries to her husband, Daddy, our baby's gone.
Are you going to sleep here?
What? Who are you?
I said, are you going to sleep here?
Yes, I am. And what's it got to do with you?
Nothing at all. But I wouldn't try and get here.
Yes, well, I'm not you, and I am going to sleep here.
Fair enough. You know best, I suppose. See you around. Or not, as the case may be. But you will regret trying to get your head down here. Have a good night. I don't think.
Why shouldn't I sleep here? I know you're just dying to tell me.
No. You know best. Sleep where you like.
I shall. I don't have to take any notice of you or anyone else anymore. So you can just bugger off.
Oh, charming. Just try and give some little tart a bit of help and guidance, and all you get is abuse. I don't know why I bother. I'll come back in the morning to see what's left of you.
Yeah, and what's keeping you? It's not me. I don't need anyone's help, so you can just... well, sod off.
Don't worry, I'm gone. And I'll tell you another thing. I'm sorry, love. I didn't mean to upset you.
It's not you. I'm just miserable. And I'm cold.
Cold? Should have been here in January, when it snowed. Then it was really cold.
You've been sleeping rough since then.
Yeah, nearly a year.
Why?
Why what?
Why have you been sleeping rough for nearly a year?
Lots of reasons. But you're a mystery. Why would a lovely young girl like you be dossing in an alley?
I'm not lovely. Well, not anymore. I mean, I used to be, but... well, 3 days of this sort of thing can really bring you down.
Don't be daft. You don't look too bad at all. How old are you?
What's that got to do with it? How old are you? Well, it's so unimportant. I'm as old as I am.
All right, calm down. Just wondered how old you were. Just a friendly inquiry.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I just wondered. If you want to know, I'm 18.
Are you? Well, I'm 70. Nearly 18.
Well,
If you really must know.
what are you doing here? You sound a bit posh. Not the sort you usually get sleeping rough. At a row at home.
Don't want to talk about it.
Fair enough. Do you want a fag?
No, that's a disgusting habit. But you smoke if you must.
No, I don't.
Why do you have the tobacco?
Nah, crafty little thing. I collect faggots outside nightclubs. Sometimes they throw away great long ends. Nearly the whole bag. Well, I go along, tobacco out. I've got some papers and, well, there you go. Instant fags.
What's the point if you don't even smoke?
Well, here's the crafty thing about it. It's a way in, you know? You meet some gits late at night. They're a bit aggressive towards you. You say, here, do you want to roll up? Suddenly the tension disappears and they're your mates. This tin's come in very useful for me, I can assure you.
Well, maybe I need something like that in case I meet some nasty people.
Yeah, look, don't get angry again, but if you were to meet some particular types late at night, especially around here, well, it wouldn't be a fag they'd want from you, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I'm not retarded. Is that what you're after?
No, no! You're quite safe with me, I can assure you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I don't want to look at my best at the moment, but you could at least try and say something.
Bloody hell, no. What I mean is, I'm not like that. Besides, I like you and I'd like to hang out with you if you'd like to. It's a lot easier if you've got a mate.
Yes, well, as long as we're just friends.
Yeah, just friends. Anyhow, my name's Darren. How'd you do?
Very well, thank you. I'm Perdita.
Who?
Perdita. It's Greek. All my friends call me Perd or Perdy.
Ah, right now, Purdy. What brings you to this grotty place?
I asked you first.
Right. So you did. Well, there's not much to tell, really. My mother, who's a slut, by the way, she...
I'm sure she isn't. What have you to say about your mother?
Well, do you know my mother?
Well, obviously no, but...
Well, take my word for it. She's a slut of the first division. The Manu of the slut world. She smokes like a chimney, drinks like a fish. She don't cook, don't clean. Got 2 brothers, 1 sister that I've hardly ever seen. In and out of care. And more foster homes than you can name. About a year ago, her latest live-in lover, creep, he tried it on with me.
Oh, he tried to.
Yeah, he did. He must have been ambidextrous.
Well, what did you do?
Well, I hit him over the head with a Toby jug.
A Toby jug?
You laugh. It was the first thing that came to hand. And it was heavy. Gave him a bloody great lump on his forehead. Well, that called his ardour, I can tell you. Told the old hag what he'd done. You know what she said? Don't go upsetting him. He's going to pay for me to go to Torremolinos. Well, that was it. That was the last straw. I upped, packed a bag, and here I am now. Your turn.
Told you I don't want to talk about it. I shan't tell you again.
Right, okay. Shan't mention it again. Are you hungry?
No, I'm all right, thank you.
When did you last eat?
It was about...
You don't remember, do you?
Yes, I do. It was... this morning.
And what did you have?
A Mars bar.
So like I said, are you hungry?
Yes, then.
Right now, madam, we have a choice. We have cheese and onion, tuna salad, or smoked salmon with anchovy sauce, plus a sausage roll.
Can I have the smoked salmon?
Of course, your wish is my command.
Oh, the salad is lovely. I didn't realise how hungry I was. But, how did you get the money to pay for these?
Haven't you got any money?
I only had £15 when I started, but that soon went. I left in a hurry, you see, and I
Left
did...
in a hurry? Sorry, said I wouldn't mention it. Well, we can't stay here much longer. We're going to have to move.
Why? You keep saying that.
Well now, my innocent little high-class daughter. Over there are 3 nightclubs and 2 bars. That's about 3 o'clock on a Saturday, which I believe this is. They scourge their drunken clients and they come puking and vomiting down this lane. Now, if they were to find a pretty little chick like you tucked up in the corner, well, they may just wish you good night, I suppose. But personally, they kicked me, chased me away, smashed all my belongings and my radio. Here, you haven't got a radio, have you?
Why would they do such a thing?
Well, just for fun, I think. You can call it fun. I miss my radio.
Well, it's only 11 o'clock, so there's no rush.
No, but we still got to find somewhere to sleep.
Well, I'll leave it up to you then. You know best.
Starting to trust me now, are you?
Not altogether.
Quite right. Don't trust anyone.
I know it's rude to ask, as you gave me them for nothing, but how did you get the money to pay for these?
I see you're thinking. Well, nothing illegal.
Oh, I wasn't thinking that at all.
Yeah, you were.
Well, I noticed they were from M&S, and they're quite expensive.
Bit of shoplifting, is that what you think? Gonna spit them out and throw them away if they're stolen?
No.
That's right. Morals go out the window when hunger strikes. Well, don't worry. They're acquired quite legally. Look at the label.
Why?
What's the sell-by date?
The 23rd.
And the date today?
Must be about the 23rd?
Exactly.
I don't get it. What does that mean?
It means that tomorrow M&S can't sell them. So tonight they threw them away in a skip.
And
I went round the back and got them out before the rats did.
oh my god, that's disgusting.
Wait. Look at the seals. You had to break them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Taste alright, don't they? Tonight at 6 o'clock, M&S could have sold them, but lucky for us, they didn't. So tonight they threw them in a skip.
So, how long were they in the skip with the rats?
About 10 minutes, and there weren't really any rats. I made that bit up.
That's all right then. Hate rats.
Drink.
Yes, please.
Did have some Swiss Mountain spring water.
Well,
We're gonna have to get going soon.
you just keep saying that. I mean, you said that twice now.
Well, you might rush back to Mummy and Daddy soon.
Just shut up about them. I told you I don't want to talk about them. I can't tell you again.
Alright, well, I shan't mention them again. I'm sorry. I was only joking.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was very funny.
I know, I said I'm really sorry.
Well, fine. Look, I'm sorry. You know, you have been very kind, and I'm just trying to forget about them, start a new life for myself, well away from them.
Now that, I can understand. I sometimes have this really nice dream about strangling my mother.
Darren?
Really slowly.
Well, this is the kind of place you'll find them congregating. So where they disappear to after dark, I haven't a bloody clue. That'll be up to you to research.
And did you say the council's funding us on this project?
Yes, the mayor has designated it a priority for his year, otherwise known as How Can I Get My OBE? Anyway, him being best mates with our editor means that we're joining in with his campaign to help the homeless of this town and to expose the plight of the poor unfortunates who have no roof over their heads, nor a peg on which to hang their hats. Oh, bloody hell, stop me, Sarah, before I burst into tears.
You're a cynical old sod, Nick.
True. But I've got enough trouble keeping a roof over my own head without worrying about the sick, lame and lazy or too bloody drugged up or just too stupid to even get a job at McDonald's.
Now, I'm sure they're not all as bad as that.
Oh, come know you're young and innocent, although not that innocent from what I've heard.
And what have you heard?
Don't interrupt your elders and betters when they're pontificating. You haven't been here long, whereas I have languished for years in this two-horse burg. During the last 10 years, a boss-eyed man with acne and halitosis could have got any number of jobs. Some years ago, of course, it was difficult to find a suitable job, especially if you lived up north. Up north, silly buggers, it serves them right. But I can see no reason why I should give my change to some idle git, or pay my council tax to support people who are liable to bloody well mug me, break into my house, trash my car, or deface the walls of my home or work with graffiti. Here endeth the first lesson.
And is that what you want me to write?
Oh, no, you better bloody well not, no. What I, the editor and the mayor want from you is compassion and understanding for these poor homeless prats. Sorry, persons who've never had a chance in life.
I don't believe you're as hard as you make out, Nick.
Oh, bloody well am. So don't you get on the wrong side of me, you'll find out.
Right, well, off I go, and if I'm not back by 9 o'clock tomorrow, send out a search party.
I wouldn't joke about things like that if I were you, you know. It's rough around here.
Oh, there you see, you do care.
No, I bloody don't. If anything happens to you, I shall have health and safety camped on my doorstep for letting you out on your own. I'll have 1,000 forms to fill in. Now, are you sure you don't want one of them young bucks back at the office to go round with you? I mean, most of them would jump at the chance of getting you down dark alleys, wouldn't they?
No, I think I'm safe with the dropouts and junkies and that lot, Nick.
Come to think of it, you know, I really should get you to sign a disclaimer to cover my arse.
Oh, I was right, you're all heart.
Now, don't be a smart arse.
Too late.
Yes, I know they turned you out like that straight from uni. Now, in my day...
I know. You had to eat the editor's poo at an initiation ceremony.
I know you meant that as a joke, but in reality, I had to swallow a lot of shit from my editor when I just started.
So what's changed?
People like you, that's what's bloody changed. We kept it buttoned, mate.
Well, I am very, very sorry, Nick. Well, off I go. I don't want to be here all night.
Off you go, head held high, and I tell you what, it's a special concession. You needn't go into the office until 10 o'clock tomorrow.
10 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah.
You must be bloody joking. Tomorrow's Sunday. I'll see you after lunch on Monday.
Here, you start with those two over there, look.
What do you think they're sleeping rough?
Oh, it looks like it, yeah. Come on, I'll give you a start.
No, it's all right, Nick. I want to do this one on my own.
Oh, come on. Here, you two. Got time for a little chat?
Come on, let's go.
What's the hurry? I want to ask you a couple of questions.
We don't want to answer any questions.
I can assure you we'll only take a few minutes of your time.
Get stuffed. Bet you from the council. Bloody do-gooders.
Could be. But it's worth a tenner for us just to have a little chat with you.
Now, why didn't you say that from the start?
Questions first, tenner second.
Do I get a tenner too?
No, tenner between you. We've got 2 5s if you prefer.
Oh, well, in that case, fire away.
See, Sarah? The greatest lubricant in the world. Loosens tongues and just about anything else you want loosening.
Fiver won't loosen me that much.
Well, it depends on how much and how interesting your information is. But looking at you two, I'd say it was worth no more than about, what, 50p?
Why do you say that?
Oh, look at you. You're just a bloody runaway who knows nothing. And you, real loser. I've seen you outside that shopping mall begging with that dog of yours. Where is it anyway?
Do you have a dog?
I did have.
What happened to it?
I haven't got it anymore.
I bet the poor pooch died of starvation and neglect.
I hope that's not right, Darren.
No, it isn't.
So where is it then?
It's just gone, that's all.
Now, I bet the fate of that poor mongrel will be worth that fiver. Or perhaps that would put you in a bad light and you'd rather we didn't hear about it.
Look, Nick, leave him alone. Isn't it obvious he doesn't want to talk about it?
Oh, come on now, Sarah. You've got to be a bit more persistent if you want to succeed in this business, you know. If you can't get information out of the likes of these two, how do you expect to interview important people of intelligence? Now, what happened to that bloody dog?
Is it dead?
Yes.
Is it, like you said, did it starve?
No.
Of course it did. Look at him. If it was sick, he wouldn't have any money for a vet.
She was never sick all the time I had her. She got more food than I did. People were more inclined to give her food than me. She was getting fat.
So where is she then?
Did she get run over?
Girl, that's what I called her. She had good road sense. Even crossed at zebra crossings. Right dog, full of fun.
Oh, you must have really loved her.
Yeah, I suppose I did. Didn't realise till she was gone.
Did Did she run away?
No, she'd never leave me. She was always at my heels. That's how I got her. Never had to use a lead, apart from in town, in case they took her away as a stray.
For God's sake, what happened to the bloody thing? I'm not standing around here all night listening to this bloody sentimental crap.
Shut up, Nick. You know, sometimes there's no sensitivity in you at all. Oh, you're just a heartless and caring oaf.
That's about right, yeah. That's not what I'm saying.
Shut up!
Shut up, and I'll tell you, if you really want to know.
Pardon me for bloody breathing.
You know I told you about those blokes down this alley?
When you lost your radio.
Yeah. Well, I'd tied Girl up because she'd go for people if I was asleep. Just to warn them, she wasn't vicious at all.
Yes, come on, come on.
If you are in such a hurry, why don't you bugger off?
Shut up, Nick. Just go on, Darren.
Well, believe it or not, when those yobs came shouting and vomiting, I was fast asleep. It was Girl barking that woke me up. When they started punching and kicking me, I ran for it, leaving poor old Girl tied up.
But you would have stayed and protected her, wouldn't you?
And get my head kicked in. I didn't think they'd hurt her. I mean, why would they? And then I heard her whimpering. I ran back as fast as I could. But when I got there, the drunks had gone. I could hear them singing. And she just lay there.
How did they do it?
I don't know. They must have kicked her or something. Honestly, if I'd known they would have hurt her, I would have laid into the whole bunch of them.
Well, if you ask me, that's the biggest load of all
Say
shit.
nothing, Nick, or I'll kick you where it hurts.
Well,
But you would have defended her, wouldn't you?
Of course I would. Even though no one's going to believe me.
I believe you.
if you believe I believe it. Ow! You put your head!
Oh, it was meant to, and I did warn you.
Bloody hell.
So, I've decided no more dogs. I've got enough on my plate trying to look after myself. Although, it does look like I've got another girl to look after.
Well, I don't need looking after. I can look after myself.
And this is where I came in. Can we just get on with this bloody interview and answer a few questions?
I think I've earned that fiver.
We shall see. We expect value for money. Well, the newspaper does. See? I supply the money. She'll ask the questions. Now I'm off for a nice meal and a bottle of red. Good night, all.
Look, come on, lady. We ain't got a nice cosy home to go to.
Well, can I ask your names for a start?
No.
Well, just your first names will do. My name's Sarah.
Darren.
And... No.
Well then, Sarah. What can me and Anne do for you?
Now, see, well, I work for the Tribune.
Oh,
I'm
bloody
doing stories.
reporter. Keep your money.
Just a minute. What does it matter if she's a reporter?
Doesn't matter what we tell her, she'll write what she wants to. And I can bet you bottom dollar we won't come out of it smelling of roses.
Yes, well, we can at least hear what she has to say. That can't hurt.
Please yourself.
Thanks.
What are you using that for?
Well, to make sure I get it right.
Ha! That's a bloody laugh. Look, just ask your questions. Let's get going.
Right, fine. So, Darren, how long have you been sleeping rough for?
About a year.
And you, Purdy?
3 days.
You've only been sleeping rough for 3 days.
Yes.
Are you an orphan?
Of course not.
Then why aren't you with your parents?
No question, that one. I've tried asking her, and she gets kind of vicious when I do. Whereas I'm quite prepared to tell you all the sordid details for that fiver.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Darren. Sorry, Anne, I didn't mean to touch your raw nerve there. So, Darren, what circumstances forced you to live rough?
Well, my father's inside for murdering my mother, and my 2 brothers and sister and I was lucky to survive a vicious attack with an axe. When I came out of the hospital, the council had reclaimed the house, so I was forced to sleep on the streets.
Well, that's fantastic. Didn't the council give you any housing or financial support?
No, they didn't want to know.
Well, this was... What? I'm surprised I didn't hear about it at the time.
It took about a year to get poor old Dad to court. He shouldn't have been convicted. It was never sane.
So this was, what, about 3 years ago? And you say he wasn't sane. In what way?
Well, for a start, he always wore pink.
Pink.
Yeah, they called him the Cartland Killer.
The Cartland Killer.
After Barbara Cartland.
Very bloody funny. You know, I'm trying to write an article on homelessness, and all you two can do You stand there giggling like a bunch of mad people.
Oh, just like his dad.
Not amused.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Sarah, me and Purdy
Hang on, Purdy. Who the hell's Purdy?
Thank you very much, Darren. Yes, I'm Purdy.
And are you Darren, may I ask?
I'm afraid so.
Well, you need to change your names. You could have trusted me. I wouldn't have used them.
Yeah, well, we're not big on trust.
I can imagine that.
Now look, me and Purdy, we're sorry we messed you about. Ask the questions, we'll do our best to answer.
Are you sure about that? You know, I don't want to go wasting half my night with you two. I mean, was the story of the dog about the truth, or was this another figment of your imagination?
Do you recognise the truth when you hear it?
Well, I think so. It was a truth, wasn't it?
I wish it was a tale.
I can imagine you do. Well, Purdy, what can I ask you?
It's no good asking me. I've only been homeless for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say for sure is, well, it's very uncomfortable.
Whereas I'm a bloody expert, so far away.
Well, thank you, Darren. Well, the council estimates there are approximately 120 people living rough at the moment. How many do you know?
Well, not that many. I'd say 20 to 25.
And you, Purdy?
Just Darren.
And how long have you known Darren for?
That's approximately half an hour.
You only met him tonight.
It was love at first sight.
No, it wasn't.
More like mutual distrust and contempt.
Oh. So,
It's more like it.
who would you say has been living rough the longest?
Oh, that's easy. That's the famous Mrs. Baggs.
No, even I've heard of her. The lads at the office say that she was around when they were just knee-high to a grasshopper.
Yeah, she is a bit ancient. Quite a character, though. Don't pay to upset her. Don't let her find out you're a reporter. Even worse, I hope you ain't got a camera on you. Last person that tried to take a picture of her, still trying to get the lens out of his arse.
Oh, really? Another one of your tall tales, I suppose?
See for yourself. She comes along this way any time about now to Dos.
Really?
Oh, where does she sleep?
God knows. She just disappears every night. Like bloody magic. Rumour has it she's got a spot on High Trees Avenue.
Isn't that referred to as Millionaire's Mile?
I can assure you they're not all millionaires. Even though a lot of them act like it.
I see. And what do you know about this?
Nothing. Keep your nose out of my business.
God, you really could do with some counselling for that anger, you know.
What I don't understand is, well, how could she find somewhere to sleep in such a high-class place like that?
Well, it's amazing the out-of-way places you can find. A shed, an outhouse.
But for all that time?
Yeah. Now that is astonishing. I find I always get moved on after like 2 or 3 days.
Really? Does the police harass you?
Harass me, I should say. You wouldn't believe. Here, look, here she comes. Whatever you do, just don't let her know you're a reporter. And as for you, speak when you're spoken to.
Charming.
Good afternoon to you, Mrs. Baggs.
Oh, it's you, is it? I was hoping never to have to see you again.
I told you we were friends. This is Purdy, a new one this week.
And how old are you?
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, it's got attitude, has it? Well, the streets will soon knock that out of you. And who's this? I can't see you sleeping rough.
Well, no, I was just talking to Darren and Purdy.
Why?
She thought we might have seen her cat.
Oh, live round here, do you?
Well, actually, no.
So why do you think your cat might have been in this area?
She said it jumped out of the window in the car on the way to the vets. Probably knew what it had in store for it.
I see. So where are you going to sleep tonight?
I don't know yet.
My advice to you is to go home, you silly little girl. You won't last 5 minutes on the streets.
Who are you to say that? Look at you. You did all right.
Do you smoke?
No, she don't.
would she answer? Oh, dear me. Don't tell me she's sulking. What a spoilt brat.
How dare you say that? What do you know? Who's been talking to you?
Nobody's been talking to me. You only have to listen to you for 5 minutes to know you're a spoilt, rotten, little, rich girl. Oh, and a snivelling one at that.
I say, that's a bit rude.
Oh, bugger off and look for your can.
Don't you worry about her. I'll look after her.
You flash little git, you can't even look after yourself. Life's a bit hard on you, and what do? Beg, collect fag ends, rummage in skips. You're young, fit, and not altogether dim, and yet you haven't got the backbone to make something of yourself and get yourself a job.
Who do you think you are, talking to people like that?
Oh, I know who I am, dear. But who are you? That's the question. I don't think you're looking for some lost moggy. You're from the social services, a council snooper. Go on, admit it.
Yes, if that's what you think, you're right.
I knew it. And smell your sanctimonious preaching a mile off. Why don't you piss off and leave us alone?
You are a nasty, evil old woman.
Oh, a nasty, evil old woman. And you are a pathetic child. Why don't you go home before somebody gets you on the game? That's mostly how your sort end up.
Really? Has it happened to you? Have you done it?
Might have done. What's it to you? Oh, are you going to rehabilitate me? A bit late for that.
No man could get me to do such a disgusting thing.
Oh, hark at the Iron Maiden. Do you drink?
What does that have to do with it?
Oh, is she incapable of answering one simple question? I'll tell you what it's got to do with it. Most girls are set on the road to ruin when some bloke takes advantage of them when they're drunk.
If you're so worried about her, why don't you take her to your sleeping place?
What?
Well, let her come with you.
Wouldn't go with her. She lived in the Ritz. I'd sooner sleep on a bed of nails.
Oh, don't she talk a load of rubbish. Well, Miss Cleverdick, what are you going to do?
Darren will look after me.
Him? He's probably the one with the idea of getting you on the game. I wouldn't put it past him to anybody as lazy as he is.
That's really not fair. You know I'm not like that.
Well, prove it then. Get yourself a job. And you, go home to your mummy. And you, go and look for your cat. Oh, no, I forgot. You're not looking for a cat now, are you? You're from the social services. At least that was your last occupation, and I don't even think I believe that. What I do believe is that you are a bloody liar. There's something very familiar about you.
Oh, I can assure you, you and I have never met.
No, I know.
would have remembered that.
We've never met. It's your type that I recognise.
What type?
The type that scribbles a load of lies. I want nothing to do with you. Or these two no-opers. Good night. And I sincerely hope I never see any of you again.
Well, she defies description. One old
Bag.
bag, yeah, she's aptly named. So what if she doesn't get hurt talking to people like that?
Calm down. She's gone now. Don't worry.
Who does she think she is? Talking to me like that? Oh.
I'll tell you one thing though. She did look pretty worried when you mentioned Perdita should get at her place.
Oh, that's because she won't want me there.
No, I don't think that was it. She seemed more worried that we'd find out where she was sleeping.
Well, let's follow her.
What for?
To pay her back for the way she spoke to me.
I don't think so. Sounds a bit childish to me.
Oh, so you're at it now. I'm childish, am I?
Oh, you have got a sharp fuse, haven't you?
Right. Let's go. We're going to have to be careful. She's a sharp old bird. And whatever you do, be quiet. No one's ever managed to find out where she sleeps before.
Right, well, off we go. Remember, we must be as quiet as mice. Well, come on.
I can switch them all off now, dear heart.
did you know I lived here?
We followed Mrs. Bagg. Hang on. Are you Mrs. Baggs?
What do you want? And who's we?
Perdita and Sarah.
Where are they now?
On the other side of your 8-foot gate. Not very welcoming.
It wasn't supposed to be. How did you get in? The gate was locked.
Over the top, of course. A few spikes are nothing to a man of my agility.
When you could just hop back over again unless you want a taste of this.
I heard you were a bit of an expert with that thing. Well, I'm not a threat. Not physically, anyway. But I could go telling all the people you insult how you've got a lovely big house like this. Posh clothes and money, I suppose.
Oh, that's what you want, is it? Money to keep your mouth shut?
No. What I do want you to do is push that button or whatever it is you do to let the others in.
And then you'll keep your mouth shut?
Well, I can't speak for them, can I?
Oh, make yourself at home, won't you?
Don't worry, I shall.
I shall check everything before you leave, make sure nothing's missing.
How many times do I have to tell you? I'm not like that. I don't drink, take drugs, steal or smoke. My only crime's being homeless. And you know what? I'm fed up of it.
We'll see. That'll be your co-conspirators. I won't ask you to sit down because you're not stopping. I've got nothing to say to you and I've got no interest in anything you've got to say.
Well, is that so? Then why do you go around looking like a tramp when you own a nice house like this?
Oh, the snivelling little brat has found her voice. Now she thinks she's on top, has she?
I don't really care why you pretend to be homeless. I just came along with the other two.
Why don't you go home before something really nasty happens to you? You still looking for your cat? Or have you given that up? Oh no, I remember. You're a reporter, aren't you?
What is your problem? I've done nothing to do you any harm. Or I know journalists have a bad reputation.
People of your ilk have.
Oh, well, I'm sorry if somebody hurt you.
Well, I'm not. I bet she deserved it.
Nobody deserves what her lot did to me.
And what did they do to you?
Nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. Here. Right. You've seen where I live. You've got what you wanted. Now just make yourself scarce.
Yes, but why do you pretend to be homeless when you live in such a lovely house like this?
I don't pretend to be anything.
Yes, but why do you dress in such a bizarre way?
I can dress how I like.
Well, yes, but is it intended to deceive or something? It's very hard to understand why.
Yeah. Looks like you're up to something.
What, impersonating a bag lady? Is that a criminal offence? I don't think so. Look, what are you doing there? Leave that alone. Put it back.
I'm only looking at this old poster.
Well, don't. Put it away.
Well, it looks a bit like you. Is it your daughter?
Yes.
She's an actress in the West End, is she?
Yes, that's right. Now leave it alone. Put it away.
No, it does look like you, just, well, only younger.
A chip off the old block, as they might say.
I see. Well, does she give you the money to rent this house?
Does she do what?
Bankroll you. Being in the West End, she's bound to be in the money. She wouldn't let poor old Mum starve now, would she? What's her name?
It's,
It's Julia Gray. It says so here in the poster. Well, so are you Mrs. Gray, or is that just your daughter's stage name?
yes, that's right. It's her stage name. Now put it back before I get really cross.
I don't think you're telling us the truth.
Why do you say that?
Oh, very easily, actually. It says, written on the top right-hand corner of the poster, well, it was printed over 30 years ago.
I thought it looked a bit old-fashioned.
It's my sister.
Oh, well, it could be, of course. Then we wouldn't have had all this bloody palaver with your daughter, would we?
It's you. a tramp when you're a famous actress from the West End.
Well, well, well. Looks like this is worth more than a fiver. A scoop, as you might say. You're in hiding, aren't you? Did you commit some terrible crime?
Wouldn't surprise me one little bit. She's got a really nasty streak.
No, I have not committed a crime. And you, young lady, have got a very lurid imagination.
Yeah, you've just gone all posh. That's not your normal voice.
Yes, it is. When I'm Mrs. Baggs, the bag lady, I talk like this. And when I'm Julia Gray, I talk like this, which is my normal voice.
But why do you pretend to be Mrs. Baggs? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it used to 30 years ago. In fact, Mrs. Baggs saved my life.
How?
Sit down, children, I'll tell you a story. As you can see from that poster, I used to be an actress in the West End. That play, Wild Women, set me on the road to stardom. I won every award an actress could win that year.
Did you win an Oscar?
No, dear, you don't get Oscars for stage work, only for films. But I won every award a stage actress could win. And after that, the work just flooded in. TV and stage. And then I got my big break to go to Hollywood.
You made films in Hollywood?
Yes, I made 4. I wasn't always the lead, but I did have leading roles. In fact, one of them was on TV a little while ago. It was the first time I'd seen it.
What was that called?
Lonely Woman.
Oh, I saw that. It was a really good film. But I don't remember you in it.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Hollywood had given me a makeover. I had a job recognising myself.
Well, so you had it made. What went wrong?
Me, that's what went wrong. I couldn't handle it. I thought I was Sarah Bernhardt. That's a famous actress, by the way. I used to roll up, drunk, stoned, didn't know my lines. There were photographs of me falling over, vomiting in the street. Oh, the paparazzi loved me. And when the TV crews caught up with me, there was more bleeps on the soundtrack than words. So I decided to escape back to England. I behaved myself for a while, but then I got involved with Johnny Stone.
I remember him. Well, my mother was his biggest fan. He was a real hellraiser. But didn't he die?
Yes, poor Johnny. He was very exciting and attractive, but not really too bright. Still, who am I to judge? We were both leading that sort of life. He just took it that bit further. Drink, drugs, and rock and roll. He was always trying to persuade me to go that little bit further, but there was always a tiny part at the back of my brain that said, no, that's too far. On that fatal night, he really went wild. Booze and drugs of all kinds. Singing, dancing, laughing, fighting. And then he suddenly said, I'm tired. And he staggered off up to bed. I went up a little while later to catch up with him, but he was fast asleep.
Were you living with him at the time?
No, I left with a girlfriend. We tried to ring him the next afternoon, but we got no reply. The refuse collectors found him in an alley, in a skip. It seemed he'd gone up to the roof and tried to fly. The ironic thing was that his hit song was Fly With Me, Baby.
And you were nearly that baby.
Oh, there were times afterwards when I wished I had been.
Was it very bad for you?
Yes, it was terrible. The press knew we were an item. They practically camped on the doorstep. TV crews and newspaper reporters and photographers and just sightseers.
Well, wouldn't it have been easier, just to give them the interview?
No, as it happened.
Well, you did give them the interview?
I'm afraid so.
Didn't it go well?
No, you see, I was still drinking heavily and in a state of shock. I missed Johnny so much. And after being a prisoner in my flat for 2 days, I polished off a bottle of vodka and I sallied forth to meet the world's press. There I stood on the doorstep, and there were they, shouting and photographing, and every time I tried to speak, they came out with another stupid or insulting remark. One of them said, "How do you feel about Johnny's death?" Well, that did it. I just lost it. I said, "How do you think I feel, you bloody moron?"
Well, I shouldn't think that was very popular. Well, not very diplomatic.
Well, I wasn't trying to be diplomatic, but I'm afraid it gets worse.
Don't see how it could get any worse.
Oh, yes it can. I showed them my, well, how shall I put it? I think in modern parlance you call it a moonie.
You didn't.
Oh, good for you.
Well, it was just supposed to be a gesture of contempt, really. I just turned my back, bent forward, and flicked up my skirt.
Well, luckily there were no thongs in those days.
I'd have settled for a thong.
What do you mean?
No knickers.
You flashed your bare bum to the world's press.
And in the olden days too.
What? Well, I suppose it is the olden days to you, but I think it would cause quite a stir even now if one of your leading actresses flashed to the world's press.
This might be a bit of a delicate question, but did you usually wear it?
Well, of course I did. That day I was upset and drunk. I just forgot. Of course, that's what the press said, that I never wore any. TV got it on tape, and only one still photographer caught it. It was so quick. But he happened to be a freelance, and he syndicated it all round the world. I think he made enough to retire on. Daily Sport had it blown up on the front page, and the video was shown endlessly.
Have you got a copy?
No!
Well, that showed him they ought to leave you alone.
No, I should have think it had quite the opposite effect. Bet the next time he showed up there was twice as many waiting for you.
I bet a lot of men turned up, hoping for another flash. By the looks of you in that picture, you were pretty sexy in those days.
Oh, thank you very much, Darren, for the compliment. But you're quite right, Sarah. I had a contractual obligation to appear at the opening of one of my films. They had to have the police to hold the press back, and the public. There were cries of, "What are you going to show us tonight, Julia?" Lots of crude comment and laughter. It was awful. I tried to escape unseen out of the back, but a lot of them found me. Do you know, I think I was close to suicide. I was having panic attacks, and there were times when I just couldn't breathe. I had to do something and quick.
Is that why you became a recluse?
Well, in a way it was, yes. You see, I daren't go out. Press were permanently camped on the doorstep. I gave up reading the terrible things they said about me. Everything from me being a prostitute to a vampire. Eventually we did escape in the early hours of the morning. Before they had their wits about them, we'd gone. I stayed at a friend's house for a while, but I still daren't go out. And then one day, we hit on the idea of Mrs. Banks. Just for a laugh, really. You see, my friend happened to be a theatrical costumier, and he made me up as a bag lady. First time I went out, into the West End it was, I was terrified. I thought, if the press catch me like this, they'll have a field day. But I needn't have worried. Nobody recognised me. In fact, nobody even looked at me. And suddenly I felt calm and relaxed as Mrs. Banks.
But what I don't understand is how you ended up here.
Ah, well, that all turned out quite well, really. You see, there's somebody at the gate. Who on earth can that be?
Oh dear, I think I know.
Well, it's obviously somebody that can't climb. You made a phone call, didn't you?
I'm afraid I did. You see, I didn't know your story at the time. I just thought, well, you were some posh eccentric who liked to roam the streets at night.
So who did you ring?
Well, look, if it is him, I'm even surprised he came.
You rang the press, didn't you? Oh, my
aggressive one who likes to dress up and roam the streets at night.
Well, will he swallow that?
Well, we were going to, until we saw that poster.
If we just hide that, he won't have to know.
But you'll tell him.
I won't. There's nothing he has to do with it, and what's more, I don't like him.
Me too. I think your business is your business. You shouldn't be hounded anymore.
But it is your business, isn't it? A good story. Some might say a scoop. If you sold this to the Nationals, it'd get you a byline, wouldn't it?
Suppose so.
I knew it. The press. You're all bastards and not to be trusted.
Hang on a second, that's not fair. I might only get one chance for this.
Oh, I better go and let him in. No good delaying the inevitable. At least I'm wearing knickers tonight.
I don't see how you can be so mean. Can't you see you're going to destroy her life all over again?
Don't waste your time, Purdy. She's press. See the pound signs in her eyes. Can't wait to blurt it all out.
Look, I'll tell you the best I can do is keep quiet to him until you're ready for a proper disclosure in your own time.
It's the best I can hope for, I suppose. You better let him in, Darren.
Well, what do we have here? A mystery. Just the old bat.
Oh, charming.
Now, what's a lady like you doing wandering around the streets dressed like a tramp?
Well, you certainly get that straight to the point. None of the niceties we expect from gentlemen of the press.
I don't know who you've been talking to, lady, but nice is not a word that's ever been associated with me. I'm just interested in a good story for my poor provincial paper. God knows they're few and far between, eh, Sarah? Or bloody global warming and bloody health and safety and green issues. And, of course, the sad fate of the poor downtrodden underclass who've never had a chance in life. Tears me bloody heart out to think about that.
Look, Nick, I don't even know why you came. The story's all sewn up. We might as well be off, mate.
Oh, there's no rush. I'm away home anyway. What's the story?
Well, I told you on the phone.
Yeah, well, briefly. What are these two no-opers doing here?
Well, they've been really useful, actually. They helped me follow Mrs. Banks.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Baggs. So what's her real name?
Well, actually, it's,
Come on, spit it out.
well,
Hmm?
I don't know.
I beg your pardon, you don't know?
Yes, I don't know.
It was journalism at university, wasn't it?
Yes, but you see, the situation
Well,
was
you haven't
different
even
this
got a
time.
bloody name? One of the first questions to have asked, I would have thought.
Yes!
Will you tell me you've got the story all sewn up?
Yes!
Huh. No, I had you down as a bright young thing who was going places. I feel I have to change my mind. You must be a bit thick. You haven't even got a bloody name. I don't believe it.
Thank you.
That's because I didn't tell her it.
It's got nothing to do with it, lady. We've got you over a proverbial barrel. And you can either tell us your name, or in the morning there are a dozen ways I can find out. Even without your name, this is the most intriguing story that our non-true bright readers will lap up. I can see the headline now. Posh prowler unmasked. It'd be best with a picture of you out on the street, dressed in your rags. Then another one of you here tarted up in the lounge. The papers will pay good money for that. Now be reasonable, what do you think?
What do I think? You loathsome slime ball. I wouldn't help you if the alternative was death at dawn. Who on earth do you think you are, interfering in people's lives? What I do is my concern, and it's nothing to do with you or your stupid readers. So why don't you take that recorder and stuff it up your arse?
So I'll take that as a no then.
Yes.
Hang on, don't I know you?
No, certainly not.
Oh, I think I do. I never forget a face. There was something very familiar about that tirade. I've seen you do that before. Did you used to go on protest marches? Were you one of the placard-bearing Anorak Brigade? Perhaps that's where I've seen you.
Oi, why don't you leave her alone? Come on, we should go. We've got to get going.
Clear off then.
Yeah, we haven't got a cosy place. Cozy up in. Come on, Nick. As you said, we've got the story all tied up, and I'm tired. Come on.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But I'll look you up on the electoral register in the morning, missus. And your story will be all over the paper.
Perhaps, but I'll be far away from here by then.
Hang on. loathsome slime ball. I've been called that before. You're Julia Gray, you are. Now I bloody recognise you. Julia, what happened to you? You just disappeared after that bum thing. You've changed, but not that much. I should have recognised you straight away. Must be that bottle and a half of red wine inside me. Not normally this slow.
Hello, Nick. I must admit, you have changed. It took me a while to recognise you.
Oh, you still look pretty good. Yeah. I have changed, yeah. Not for the better.
Well, you two obviously know each other.
Oh, yes, rather intimately, as I remember.
Oh,
So did you know she was then?
of course I did.
Aha, holding out for all the bloody glory for yourself, you crafty old bugger. You certainly learned fast. This is a big story, you know. This will mean a lot of money, you realise that?
Yes, but Mrs. Baggs, she just...
Oh, please, Julia. I think we can drop the Mrs. Baggs.
My apologies. Well, Julia, she doesn't want her life spread across the papers again. And surely she hasn't a right to anonymity, Nick.
Of course she bloody hasn't. You choose a high-profile career in behaving outrageous ways, and the press has the right, some might say the duty, to expose the goings-on of these favoured few. So I'm just doing my duty.
Bollocks.
Exactly. Or to put it in a more practical way, Sarah knows, I know, and these two know. Now, if the old adage is that if one person knows a secret, it can remain a secret. Two people know a secret, it might remain a secret. But if four people know a secret, there's not a bloody chance on earth it's going to remain a secret. So if the story is going to come out anyway, we might as well do it in our own way, in our own good time, and make a few quid out of it along the way. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
What? You mean you're happy with that?
Well, no, not really, but I don't see what alternative I've got. Anyway, I am getting a little tired of the role of Mrs. Baggs. Maybe it is time for a new role.
Now that's more like the Julia Gray I knew. Well, what puzzles me is how you ended up in this godforsaken backwater.
She was just about to tell us before you buzzed in.
Oh, well, Nick knows all about my life up until the incident concerning my rear end.
Oh, and what a rear end. It went all around the world. You know, it was on office walls and locker doors. I even saw it on a T-shirt once. You know, there was a programme on the television recently, the 50 most iconic photographs of the century. I don't know if you saw it, but it was Marilyn Monroe with a frock up, Che Guevara, raising the flag at Iwo Jima, that sort of thing. And do you know, your bum was at number 43. Oh, there was something so sexy about that photo.
Here, have you got a copy?
Nah. I don't suppose you're likely to do it again, are you?
I don't think so. 30 years ago, perhaps, but I think there's rather too much of it now.
It's a shame. We could have really made some money out of that. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. You get on with your tale.
Well, as I was saying, I tried out the role of Mrs. Baggs from a friend's house, but I wanted something more permanent. Now, I didn't do much right when I was at the top, but the one thing I did do was to buy a flat in Knightsbridge. I had a word with my agent, a wonderful woman called Josie. Do you know, she still rings me once a week, even though she hasn't made a penny out of me in years. But she used to look after my money and invest it. I wasn't one of those that spent on Aston Martins and Dior dresses. Mind you, I wore them if they were given free. I used to roll a bit of Premier in a 10-quid dress off the high street. Anyway, Josie sold the flat in Knightsbridge for an amazing price and bought me this place, well away from London. I still had plenty of money left over to run it.
What do you do with all the stuff you collect?
Ah, well, once I got settled, you see, just roaming the streets became rather boring, so I started collecting clothes and things for charity, just for something to do, really.
But if you were in and out of charity shops for all these years, how come you weren't recognised years ago?
Well, that's what I thought. So I started my own charity. I called it the Wardrobe.
I've heard of that. That's on the net, right?
I have too. I got an overcoat from them last winter.
No, one of my clients, eh? You see, in my outhouse, I have a big washer and a dryer, so everything I collect is washed and dried before I send it off.
Do you do all this on your own?
No, not really. There's a small organisation. There's a van calls once a week to collect the clothes. I put them out for them. I don't even see the van driver. And then there's a couple of ladies from the local church who organise the shop.
Oh, it's brilliant. I think it's a really worthwhile thing to do.
Yes, Mother Teresa of the bloody Midlands. Well, that's all in the past. What about tomorrow? What about the future? What about tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. But I'm sure you're going to tell us.
You bet, my brain's bloody buzzing.
Buzzing? Well, something new. I haven't seen much buzzing from you since I joined the paper.
Point taken. Boredom and lethargy have taken their toll over the last 10 years. But now things are different. Now we've got an opportunity to get back into the big time, and I can't bloody well wait.
Well, I shouldn't think it would include me and Darren.
Yeah, we might as well shoot off. Got to find somewhere to sleep.
No, you two stay put. You're not sleeping rough tonight. You're sleeping comfortably tonight.
Yes. Just listen to me. Do you want to get back on the stage? Now think very carefully. It all depends on that.
Yes. Do you know, I see these people on TV and I think they're rubbish. I could do much better than that.
Bloody true. Absolutely. Right, I've got this idea. You don't have to go along with it. I'm just sort of thinking out loud, you know. But I'm positive it's going to be a winner.
Hang on a second, Nick. I suppose you get to publish a story, do you?
That wouldn't be fair.
Sarah was the one who found Julia.
Yes, Sarah deserves the lion's share of the credit.
Just shut up and listen to me, will you? This is what I propose, right? I shall leave this small town rag and become Julia's permanent press agent, organising interviews for the press, TV, anybody who'll give us a reasonable amount of coverage. Sarah gets an exclusive with a national newspaper, saying how she found you. Not too much at first. Well, after a few weeks we'll syndicate a fuller story to America. We'll get BBC ITV to do a documentary. There should be a book in this. Julia Gray, The Missing Years. I'll ghost it for you. And if your friend Josie can come up with a play or a film, we can push the publicity using the famous bum shot. And then what?
Yes, Nick. I think we've got the idea.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, what do I think about being in front of the world's press again? Being paraded about and interviewed and photographed. I tell you this, Nick. I can't wait. I'm tingling all over just thinking about
Oh,
it.
this is fantastic. So, Nick, how many papers do I need to approach? Do I write the story myself? Shall I get a photographer?
No, I don't want any bloody photographers near her. I'll take a picture of her in the Mrs. Baggs gear and as she is now, before and after, you see.
Right.
Those plus the famous bum shot. Oh, fantastic. This is going to be worth a fortune. The phone won't stop ringing. We can all retire. I'm only kidding. We're going to have to work our bloody cocks off. Oh, sorry, ladies. Socks off, sorry. Tomorrow morning, you ring your friend Josie and get her to put out a few discreet feelers. Oh, bloody hell, isn't this marvellous? And you two, not a word to anybody.
Here, you going to offer us another fiver?
We didn't get the last one.
Oh, hang on, I'm sorry.
Well, put those away, will you? We're talking big money here.
Well, I'll take it anyway. Tenner in the hand's worth 1,000 promises.
You mean a fiver in the hand?
Don't worry, I was going to give it to you.
I just have one problem, Nick.
Problem? Nothing we can't sort out, I'm sure. What is it?
My charity, the wardrobe.
Pack it up. Give it away. Stop doing it. Who cares?
But I care. I've worked very hard on it, so don't you be so dismissive of my efforts.
Sorry, Julia. You know what I'm like when I get all wound up.
Yes, I remember. It was your sort that sent me underground for 30 years. I appreciate what you're doing, Nick, but just slow down.
Quite right. Sorry, I'm just so excited. But you must admit, I never wrote anything bad about you. I only wrote nice things.
When? I never read anything nice about me, not in those days.
I know. I wouldn't use anything I wrote. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't offensive and tasteless enough. I was vitriolic to other people. Used to take the bloody mickey out of me. Said I've got a crush on you.
Well, did you?
Did you have a crush on Julia?
You did! You did!
All right, I did. But most blokes fancied her. She was so bloody gorgeous. Well, in those days.
Yes, well, thanks for the compliment, Nick. But I think I have a solution to my problem. Darren, do you want a job?
What do you mean?
A job, you know, you start in the morning, finish at tea time and get paid at the end of the week.
Well, yeah, but it's got to be a proper job.
Well, it would be a proper job with a pension and holidays and everything.
Do I need anything?
National insurance number. Have
What's-
you got one?
What is one?
Oh, well, never mind. We can sort that out later. See, I want you to take my place.
Ha! No thanks. I'm not dressing up as a bag lady.
No, you don't have to dress up as a bag lady. You just have to go round and collect the clothes and wash and dry them and then leave them out for the man once a week. You see, over my garage, there's a flat. I mean, in its heyday, this place was the home of a millionaire with a chauffeur and everything. Well, I haven't got a chauffeur. I haven't even got a car, come to that. But if you want the job, the flat goes with it. What do you say?
Well, you'd have to show me where to get the stuff and work the washers and...
Well, yes, look, if I can do it, anybody can. So what do you think?
Well, yeah, please. I'd love to.
Julius, step into my office a little while, will you? What's word in your shell like? The last thing we want is a lot of hangers-on. They get in the way and they cost money.
Remember, Nick, from the old days, charity was always tax deductible.
Yeah, you're quite right. You carry on.
So that just leaves you, young lady.
I don't need a job. There's something you can do for me.
Now look, I have shared all the details of my murky past with you. The least you could do is to tell us what your problem is.
Yeah, so just come on, Purdy, tell us what the matter is.
Is it such a bad thing that you can't tell all of us, your mates?
No, not really, but
Oh, come on, Purdy, stop hesitating. Tell us what's the matter.
what if what Nick said is true? Everyone will know now anyway.
Oh, no, what? Just come on, Purdy.
I'm adopted! Shut up! I said my problem weren't as big as Julia's, but my parents didn't tell me. They're not my parents, are they? I don't know who they are. My real mum and dad. But I don't want to know them. They left me, didn't they? They didn't want me.
Well, you don't know that. I mean, maybe your mother had good reason.
They do.
I wish I was adopted. I always dreamt the old hag had found me on the doorstep. There's no hope of that. She's always telling me how painful it was to have me. You're lucky, Purdy. Do your adoptive parents look after you?
Yeah,
And have they always looked after you well?
of course.
There's no of course about it. My mum never looked after me. Certainly never loved us. She abused us. You're so lucky. You've been loved. I never have been. I wish your parents adopted me.
I know, but when I said my problem weren't as big as hers, they hurt just as much. I had to find out when I was 17.
Well, do your parents know that you know?
Of course they do, but well, I don't know really. But
Will they miss you?
that's a silly question. Of course they will. Well, I mean, they'd be distraught. By now, my dad would have called out Scotland Yard.
And why is that, do you think?
You know what you want me to say? It's because they love me.
That's right. How do you feel about them?
Well, Purdy, how do you feel about them? It's obvious you love them too, isn't it?
Yes.
You said I'd been nasty to you when we first met. What was the first thing I said to you, Purdy?
Go home.
And what did I say to you, Darren?
Get a job. And I've got one.
Can I still stay here tonight?
Well, yes, if you want to, but I think you only live just down the road. I mean, if you rang your parents from here, they'd be along to pick you up in a flat.
Can't I do that in the morning?
But your parents will have another sleepless night, Purdy.
I know they will, but I'm still angry with them. So let them suffer for just one more night.
People say I'm unfeeling.
Well, say you can be nasty to the people you love and who love you back, because in the end they'll always forgive you.
How to mouths of babes and suckling pigs.
I'm not sure that is the exact quotation, Nick.
Near enough.
I know enough.
Look, I've had a thought. If I'm going to be living here and you only live a couple of 100 yards down the road, well, I've got a job now and maybe I could take you out clubbing or go for a meal or something.
Yeah, that'd be great, but if we're going clubbing, you better get some new clothes.
Oh yeah, you can help me choose.
Listen to him, he's spending it before he gets it.
That's right, I think a little sub on account might be called for.
Well, guys, it's getting late and we've got a busy day tomorrow. We'd better be getting off, Nick.
We could burn the midnight oil and get on with it now.
No, I don't think so. We're better off tomorrow.
I don't think I should sleep tonight.
Oh, I want a bloody knackered.
Before you go, I think a little toast is called for.
Let's roll on tomorrow, that's what
I
I say.
roll on tomorrow, mate.
A little toast sounds wonderful, Julia.
Just to celebrate the new lives we're all going to start.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Right. What are we going to toast to?
Your bum.
No!
Oh, how about tomorrow?
Yes. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Bottoms up!
Wonderful audience. We really enjoyed it tonight. Well, apart from one or two little trouble is I can't hear without my glasses. Anyway, here comes the advert. As you can see from those of you who bought programmes on the back, we're going to do here in September the end of the Peterborough Pier Show. Now this is going to be a variety show which will start at about 1900 and come forward each decade with songs and dances and sketches and poems and monologues and all sorts of bits and pieces. So it should be great fun, including a fish and chips supper. So you'll feel like the seaside, but you'll still be in Peterborough. Anyway, thank you once again for being a wonderful audience, and good night.
You're not going until we get some sort of satisfaction.
Oh, please, Mr. Piper, will you bring the children back?